Okay, so in our previous one, we created all these controls. So now what we want to do, we want to sort of start parenting them up and getting them constrained in the right places. So I'm going to start with my main control. Let's switch these around because I want these the other way around. My main control wants to actually have everything, and my root control will be sort of controlling the root. So I think I've got those. So this control, the main control, is just like we'll have everything. We will be able to move the entire rig and stuff like that. And then our root control, this is where we'll start control. This is where we'll control like movement and stuff like that. So generally, you probably won't. You'll only use this to place it in a correct place that you need, but sometimes you don't even use this. But anyway, so I want my, because we're all under groups, we've kept all our translations clean. I want my main control to control my root, so I want to select my control group, then my main control curve, and then press P. So now under my, you don't have to press P, you can effectively go, I want my root control under there, hold middle mouse click, and middle mouse click it under here, and it does the same thing. So now if you select your main control, you can now grab that with the root control. So every control will be under our main control, so it moves together. So then our root control needs to control our root joint, which will be this one. So I'm going to select my root control and then select my root bone. Then we don't want to completely parent it. I think we just want to point, and because it's already at the origin, everything's clean and it's all at 0, we can leave it as that. So I've just clicked apply. So now our root control should now pull everything in our rig together. So when we think about that, we've got to think about things that we want to. This is going to be a really simple rig. It's not going to be complex, and there's probably better ways to do things. But this is, for me, this would be the easiest way for me to quickly get something done. So now I've got to think, what do I want to go, what would make my life easy for this to go with the rig? So I want my hip control, and I want my torso control. I want my antenna. So let's just put those under there. Then what I could do is select my root control and press P. So now under my root control, I have all of this controls. And it's still not really doing anything but from pulling everything, but it will become a bit clearer if I'm doing it right. So under our root control, we've got all our other controls. Then under our main control, we'll be able to select everything. So let's start with our feet. So I'm going to start with my right foot, and I want to put this, in fact, first of all, I'm going to select my right foot control, and our right foot control needs to control the IK and the bone orientation. So let's go. No, it's here. So which one is it? It's the right. Where are we? IK, right hand, right foot. So we want that to be a parent of that. So I'm gonna select my IK. What have we got under here? That's the power vector. Select on our IK, then our curve, because we actually want the curve selected. Then we can press P. So now if we select our curve, this is now controlling our knee movement. So now we need to also control the orientation of this foot. So I'm going to select my curve, then select the joint. I go constrain, open up orient, maintain offset just in case, but as you see it's all in 0 anyway, and I want to constrain all axes. Click apply. So now when I move this foot, I can move it up, and that's a bit we'll fix that intersecting, and now we can rotate. And we can sort of create something to bring this up. You can see how now we've got some rudimentary movements. And obviously we don't twist that way, but it's a pretty basic rig. It's not anything complicated, but it gives us enough to do what we need. And then we want this to be a parent of this, because we could have it all under the root. I'll show you the difference. So obviously if we have it all under root, it's going to drag everything with it. But if I select not the curve, I want the actual group. So I want my group, and I want this under my main control. So I press P. So now my right foot control group is under my main control, and I've got the right foot control as a child of that. So the difference is that now my main control still grabs everything, whilst now my root is still only in control of the body. And this can be useful for like when you're actually making them walk. It's not the best. I must admit, it's just a really basic rig to get going. But yeah, it's just a simple rig. And we'll do the same thing for the other foot now. So I want my IK handle left foot. I need that to be a parent of the curve. So I press P. Just double check that's all in there. Yep. Then I'm going to select my curve, then the bone, constrain, and orient. So now that controls that. Then I want my right foot control group under my main control. So press P. So now you can see it's highlighted and it's all under that group. And now if I select my root control, you see it's coming down like that. And you can see the uses of this. You can have it more complicated setup, so when you bring this down, these sort of also rotate down. I don't want this to be a super complicated rigging tutorial, so yeah. But yeah. Cool, so we've kind of done our legs. We've still got our pole vectors here. So we need our pole vectors to be under... do we want them to be under the... I think they're actually fine under the root as they are. They should be fine. So now we want to do the same for our hands. So where is our left IK hand? Select our curve, press P. So now this should be controlling here, but now we need to select our curve, then our joint. Let's just double check that's actually got that joint. Left wrist joint. Constrain and orient. So now we can control the orientation of this without having it on the IK. And now we need this group, left hand control, to be under here. So now this is all under the main group, whilst it's not under the I guess it depends on how you want to do things. Yeah, that should be okay. I'm just doubting myself at every turn. Cool. So let's go through and just do the fingers, and it's pretty much the same thing throughout. So obviously we don't have to. We probably want to put this. All of our. What are we on here? We're on our left hand. So we'll probably put our left hand thumb. All our left all of our but all of our left groups under our, not the group, the control. So the control is got our group. Then under that group we want to constrain these joints to the control. So it might be easier just to turn our polygons off for this. So just press Q to turn it off, and I'll press left. So I've got my left thumb control, then the joint, constrain, orient. So now if I select that, that should orientate that. And now I need this left thumb group control, because we put it all under the hand. It's just to make it easier so it's all together. This thumb control now needs to go, thumb control 2 now needs to go under thumb control 1. So when we do rotate that, that also goes down with it. So now we go to our left thumb control and select the joint, constrain and orient. So now if we select our controls, we can do this. In fact, if we select both our controls, we should be able to curve. So it's kind of what we want. That's why you kind of make sure all your joints are in the right orientation. So if your joints are doing that when you've got both of them selected, that means you're going to be in for a good time. And if not, maybe you may need to check your local transform axis. So the left thumb is done. So let's go to our left index. So select that, control, constrain, orient. I just do like to check every time. I know it can be a bit. So I want my index 2 under my actual NURBS control. So now that should be controlling that. Then constrain, orient. So now just to double check, if I select both of these, they should curl together like that nicely. And basic rigging is not too complicated. It's more of making sure you don't get things in the wrong sort of order. That being said, when you get into more complex rigging, it can get a bit insane. But I enjoy rigging. It's not too bad. I enjoy the rigging that I can do, so I'm no master at it, but as long as you sort of keep these basic fundamentals, you should be all good with your rigging. Just control, orient. This one under that control. Cool. And I'll just check again that they curl together. Cool. Not that they'll bend that way. And double check that. Ooh. So if I actually select all these controls, when I do that, ooh, what's it doing? See, it's maybe there's a different axis on that. Because it's rotated. That's fine. And, cool. So yeah, we've done our left hand. So if we select our main control, don't forget these are. So our pole vectors do follow that, so that's actually fine. And that's our group main control. These are just things that we use to help ourselves. So we can press 0 on that. So if we select them, go 0, because we don't want people to touch them. These are just our sort of fake groups, I guess. Yeah. Like, if I wouldn't hide them usually because I know that not to touch them, but you don't know who else is going to be using them. So I'm going to get my right hand. So I'm going to do the same thing for this side. So no difference. So I'm just going to put everything, my right thumb fingers under the right hand control. So just double check they're all going. So I need to make sure my right hand and the controller is parented. That's confusing. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, select IK handle, then the controller and press parent. So now, hopefully when you select your thing, it should be all good. And now you want your right hand control to control your wrist joints, so constrain, orient. So now done something wrong here. Or have I? I don't know. Oh, I think it just bends when... That should be fine. I'm pretty sure that should be okay. You can put these on a separate... It should be okay, actually. Let's... The only thing that I'll slot... Done that the wrong way around. The thing I was slightly worried about was when I do twist it up a bit. Huh, okay. Select that, then press P. Might just be because that's yes, that's fine. I think it's just probably there's something not quite right with the rigging, but maybe you need to actually should have put that on a separate because you can see here if I show my polygons, because I'm rotating with that, I kind of don't want that. Let's see, undo that. Okay, so let's see if I can undo that. Try something. So I want that to be, I am going to right hand, I'm going to call this T control, I'm going to duplicate it, I'm going to call this R control for my rotations. Might have to do this for the other one, so only because I'm not liking really how when I rotate this it's kind of affecting the IK. I don't want it to, I want to be able to move my arm and rotate it without them affecting each other. It possibly could be something that I'm doing wrong. So right hand. So I want my right hand rotation control group to be under my right hand control. So I also need to make this look different. So I'm going to control 1. Just going to scale this up. In fact, I could just do it something. No. I don't know. We'll make it look different. And that will be our... Probably want that to be our translation. It looks nicer, and this probably is better to be our rotation. So... it'll be alright. Yeah, let's not go too far back, and we'll just keep it as it is. In fact, I'll just undo that. I don't know what I was thinking. I can just edit that. Control vertex, because this is our transform. I'll just edit that one. Makes more sense. Cool. So now our transform. No, I selected the wrong one. Sorry. Cool. So our transform now is like that, and our rotation will be... I don't know what's going on. It's not... Right, let's do that again. Right. It's broken out at parented. So I'm just going to change my transform to something like this, just so it's different. Then my rotation group will go into my hand transform, so my rotations will be there. Cool, so we finally got there. And I guess you can do different shapes. So I've completely lost myself now. So, sorry about that. So I've got my right IK handle, and I want this to be a parent of my transform. So if I press P, this is now controlling my transform. But now I want my rotation curve to control my wrist joint. So hopefully now I control that. So you can have them together. Obviously there's problems that you get with this. But now they're kind of moving independently. And you can still rotate. And to be honest, I think you can just use it all on, I don't know what I was saying. I think you can just use it all on there now because you don't have, well, it should be fine. And that just gives you another layer to sort of play around with, I guess. Cool. So let's continue. We may not have to do that with the other hand, so let's not worry. So we've got our controls and IKs under here. So now we need to get all of our thumb groups, and we'll put it under our main, so our thumb, put it under our transform control. Cool. Cool, so that's getting all that. You see how like now I'm rotating this like that. You see how it's moving there? It's kind of what I didn't want, but now when I do this, it doesn't do it. So there are benefits, but then you got to be careful not to. You might have to lock the rotations on this, so you're not doing double rotations. But yeah. So where are we? So let's do our thumb, our right hand control. So we actually need to put them under the wrong one. So those need to go under the right hand rotation control. Otherwise, if you do decide to use that, you can also use this. Cool. So let's start with our thumb. Right thumb control. Ooh. Why is that backwards? I guess it doesn't matter, we'll parent it in the right way. So let's put our thumb control, then our joint, constraint, orient, then our right thumb group under our curve, then select our curve, then the joint, and should press G to repeat command. And if we select both of these now, they should curve nicely together. And obviously you can do that way, but we won't bend that way. But you might bend that way like that. Cool. So we're getting pretty close to being done with this. Let's just go right index. Make sure you actually, let's turn our polygons off and select our, so it's G for orient, right index can go under the group, under the curve, sorry, then select the curve and then Control G. So I know it can be a bit, I do check, I don't know, it's just me, I check every time. I probably can't help myself. It's probably a little bit OCD, but so it looks quite complicated in here, but we're just building up a sort of a correct hierarchy. Cool. I'm sure there's going to be something I've done wrong here as well. So we've done all the hand. And that's all curling nicely. Select just our rotation control, that's good. Rotation and translation. Cool. So it's all starting to come together under our sort of main control. We haven't done. So our right hand control needs to go into our main control. So our main control carries everything. So now if we have our root control, we can start animating like that, just so it's not locked in. Some people, you can have IK and FK switches, so it's doing different things. And we won't do that on this one, just to keep it as simple as possible. Does that have a transform on it? Let's make sure we keep everything as clean as possible. Cool, and then we've just kind of got everything apart from our eyes now. And alright, so we want our right. So we didn't rename these, so just want to call this our left eye. Make sure you rename stuff because it could get confusing if you don't. So we want both of these controls under our main eyes. So our main eye, pull both of them. And under our main eyes, we have, so let's go back to, we need to bring back our polygons. Because these are mesh lights, we need to might help if I have polygons on. Why can't I select? Ooh. Because we don't want to control that, we want to be able to control because our right eye, something's gone a bit funny. To check what's happened on with these eyes. I think something's gone a bit strange with that. Because we need to make blend shapes for it as well. So we can do the eye expressions. So we might actually do that last. And I'll figure out why those are not. So the main eye controls need to go under the root. Well, under the head actually, under the head control to be honest. So we've got head control, main eyes. So with our head control, it goes under there. Yeah, we haven't actually done all the orientation of everything yet, so we've just aligned them up. Cool, so let's do that. So far we've got all of we've got our root, our main control which has everything. Let's show our handles off again. Cool, so now we need to start adding in our sort of parts. And all we need to do now is just select our control. And let's go to our actual, let's select our actual joints, so our hip joint. They just want to constrain orient. So now we're only orientating it. I guess let's because I think if we actually let's save this because we don't want to, because that already has the position on the base. So if I select that and hip joint constraint point, yeah, it's gonna constrain. And let's try a solid parent. Translations apply. Not sure if this is what we want to do, but it might mean that we can move these independently. Let's just try that with this. Oh, what's going on there? That should have So that was right. I don't know what was that. And I think it's because we actually need to only orientate it. So if I parent that, see, we've got everything controllable under the world, in the world. But if I put a parent on this, it's gonna break it. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we're only orientating it. So hip joint, constrain, orient. So now we have that. I think we can constrain point. Let's maintain the offset. Might need to select the actual torso. Constrain, orient. Yeah, see, it's how you're getting two different sort of things go on here, which is not good. So, I'm pretty sure, like I say, I'm just, we would want to keep it on orients. So we can orientate that. This is kind of working how we want. I think we got some. Something's not quite right here. So this controls everything. You got the hips. I guess I think that should be okay actually. I probably need a main body control because I've got my hips. Let's see if it's actually, I might actually need to put a constraint and orientate on that as well. So, can do that. Can move my hips. Can move my chest. Need to check that nothing's funky as I do this. Yeah, and I think that was probably it. I might be wrong still, so sorry. I'm just trying to remember from what I can most. Cool. So this, so obviously we need to have this control on the head. The head control needs to. So it's 46 minutes. We'll try and keep this in one. We're almost done. So my head control needs to be under my torso curve. My main eyes, I think I must have undone it. I swear I did that. My main eye control needs to be under my. Where is my head control gone? Torso, head control, main eyes control under the head control. So now the head control goes with that. Not sure why antenna control needs to go under our head control. I might have undone a lot by accident. Or not. So our head control's got all that. So now we need to, let's check our torso control does all that. Now our head control is hide our polygons. Q, select our joint, constrain, orient. So now that should grab all of that. Let's go to our polygons. Cool. And now that can probably just be an orientate. And, so obviously, before we do that, make sure there's a rotation on it. I do not know. I think we might have tested it and forgotten about it, but we'll constrain and orientate that, and we can basically lock. I know we haven't locked on many other ones, but this is probably one that you do want to lock just so. And I think we are done. Well, we'll do the eyes because I need to figure out where my eyes have gone, basically. I should still be able to see them, which is kind of strange. Maybe if I delete the lights, they might come back. Oh. Cool, they have come back. So, it's a tough decision what we want to do with these, because these should follow. Well, let's just do it anyway. So, basically, we don't have any controls for these, but we have, we can just select the geo. And if we select our curve for our eye constrain, we want to go to aim, maintain offset, constrain all axis, and select apply. So now if we select this, it does nothing. Done it the wrong way around. Of course, because you need what it wants to look at. I always forget that. Click apply. So now we've got that, and it's put under the main group as well. And we'll do the same for the other one. Constrain, apply. So now we can move these eyes like this. Ooh. You might have to reevaluate the size of these bits. Just hide those for now. Whoa, not translate. Oh, I know why. Let's undo that. Do those. So we want to center the pivot on these. Sorry about that. So select it. Then if you aim. think I actually might need to do this a little bit differently. I need to have these. Let's undo that. I need them to work in a way that they actually rotate from the center. So I need to make sure the pivot point of these is at the center. So if I'm just gonna create a locator. But actually I don't need to, because that should already be at the origin. Make this big. Select these, press Ctrl 1, insert and snap the, press insert, because now I effectively want these to work in that sort of fashion. So now if I do select that, then hopefully, cool, yeah, and we're getting what we want. We're getting this sort of eye movement, so that's what it was. I'll do the same again now. G, so now hopefully when we select both these, we will still have to sort of address the size of this. Where are they? They're under the head joint, so I will Shift P them out first. And I need to make these bigger. And the best way for me to do that is scale them from here. So I'm going to select that, go deform, create a cluster, just so I get that centerpiece there. This is going to be annoying because I now need to modeling mesh and separate them. So I'm going to insert, hold V and snap to that cluster wherever it is. So now I should be able to scale this from that relative position. That should give us a bit more space. So how much am I scaling that by? 1.5. And I'll just create a lattice on it. Let's not do that. We'll just crudely pull it around. It's just so I can hide this. This should, cool. I know we're taking a little bit longer than what we're now, but I think for the amount that we've done an incredibly lot. We've done an incredibly large amount of work in this just with the rigging. We'll just delete the history, then freeze the transforms on it first. Then I'm just going to do the same again with this one. Deform, create a cluster. insert. Snap it to there. I'm just going to scale it from there. Let's try and keep it so we're not. It should be okay, to be honest. Let's go to form, lattice. And let's just pull this in. These are probably like fixes that you're going to want to be able to know how to do anyway, so this sort of stuff happens all the time. So delete the history, then freeze the transforms. I'm just going to copy that, then mesh, combine them together, freeze and delete the history, Control V, call it the eye socket. Then we can just put this under head joint. Let's just double check everything's nice and working. We've not got any sort of weird stuff going on. So now if we select our eyes, we can see that they're, we can control them and we can do them independently if we want. Cool. So we're just under an hour and I think we've pretty much done the rig apart from the eye blend shapes. And we'll do those in the next one because that might take a little bit of time because we're going to build maybe 3 or 4 blend shapes for the eyes. But yeah, so if we're done with the rigging, I think, at least for enough for what we need to do. I'm just wondering if that should have a wondering if that should also have a point on it. Let's save this. We're almost at 100. Rigging constraint point. I'm not sure if I'm going to break this now. Gives a little bit of movement in the chest. So yeah, it does give us some weird jiggly bits going on. Maybe we need a global chest control, but it should be okay if we just cover it that way. I know it's not ideal, but let's undo that. Oh, no, not that much. Edit. Redo. Control Y. Just zero all this out, and I think that should be okay. We've got kind of what we need. Maybe this should have been a bit further up, but yeah. I'm gonna stop going on. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and let's just double check everything's under our. Let's delete that. Everything should be under our group here. We've not left anything behind. Yeah, and I think we're done, apart from obviously the blend shapes. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget that like and subscribe button. It really does help. And we are probably very close to just actually... We probably want to test the rig, play around with it, but we've kind of gone as far as we need to do. We can tidy up the rig afterwards. Rig, we'll call this rig GRP. So it's got the rig group. We'll call this BUBL char for BUBL character. So a lot of this stuff will be hidden, you won't be able to select, so in reality you won't go into this, you'll only ever select the controls. And yeah, I think we're pretty much quick tidy up, and yeah, we're done. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one, which will probably be actually starting to do the shot. I really do need to go out and record stuff and set that up. So yeah, see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.